Got a game here from Jepardu versus Pasha. Lizardmen and Kislev. A lot of Lizardmen, a lot of Kislev in the submissions recently. We have Kroq-Gar and Cold One Rush versus Kislev. And actually, this is a very small Lizardman build. They only have two skink cohorts, and then it's a bunch of Cold One Riders and Cold One Spear Riders, 4 Salamander hunting packs, one of which is the Umbral Tide. Then we have Kroq-Gar on Grimlock with Hand of the Gods as his only ability, and his King Priest of Beasts with Flock of Doom. On the other side for Pasha, we have 3 Kislevite Horse Archers, 3 Dervishes, 2 Streltsy, the Wolf Hearts, Auction Ambusher ROR, and then Kislevite Warriors and Armored Cossars for a mixed frontline with a Frostworm Lord of Tempest with Blizzard as the only spell. And she is on her Frostworm mount. Kislevite Horse Archers trying to get a little bit of poke out, but they need to be careful about those 4 Salamander hunting packs. As the early game sets up, looks like Kroq-Gar is marching forward, going to use his Hand of the Gods on something. Can use it on the Ice Witch, it does decent damage there, but looks like he's not aiming for that. Streltsy? Takes half health off of Streltsy. It's not nothing. Fine, it's a fine start. No complaints. Alright. Looks like they're gonna be fine just setting up for a second, so I'm gonna fast forward briefly. Salamanders trade a little bit. There we go. As both sides were sizing up who should advance or who should stay still. Looks like the Salamander's going to try and get a bit of kiting out, but the problem is their range actually isn't that much better than Archers. 140 versus 150 and 145 with the Streltsy. And Salamanders do not do that much damage to infantry, especially armored infantry. As you can see, the armored Cossars are taking barely any damage. And yeah, the Salamander's going to have to fall back. They take a big chunk of damage right there. 1,300 HP as they retreat. So unfortunately, the ranged is not going to work out for them. And it is kind of odd to take Salamanders medium ranged little skirmishers versus Kislev, which is a hybrid ranged faction, so all their units can fire back. Cold One Spear Riders plow into these armored Cossars in the darkest of night. Other Cold One Spear Riders find Horse Archers, so that is a bit of a mistake from the Kislevite player. Buyer Blood is popped, but I think these Horse Archers are just dead and gone, so a bit of a whoopsie there. As the battle is getting drawn out, it's easier to make mistakes with your skirmish units. Flock of Doom onto the Streltsy and the Wolf Hearts. None onto the Armored Cossars just yet, as Kroq-Gar is about to get into the back line and cause some disruption. Needs to avoid the Streltsy. The Wolf Hearts have a net. It has 2 uses, so I think they already used one of them. Cold One Spear Riders did hit the back line, caused by Dervishes, fighting them in a 3v1. Wow, those Cold One Spear Riders are getting murdered in that 3v1. Kind of thought their 90 armor would help them out a bit more, but I guess they only have 28 melee defense. Damn, they are gone. Salamanders continue to kite away. One of them is taking significant damage. 3 are still very healthy. Some more Cold One Spear Riders in the back over there. You can see they're fighting on top of halberds. That probably won't be great for them for too long. There is much more what the Salamander hunting packs do. Really good damage onto the light, large targets of the Horse Archers. More Dervishes break free after they killed off that one Cold One Rider, so now they should be able to get into the back line uncontested and hit all those Salamanders and take them out. We'll see what they end up doing. Meanwhile, there goes a Blizzard on top of more Cold One Spear Riders. It will condemn the Streltsy to their fate. Looks like those Streltsy were about dead anyway, so might as well get a little poke on the Cold One Spear Riders, though. Honestly, good dodge there from Jepardu, mostly avoided it, and even got a rear charge in the Armored Cossars. Salamanders have mostly gotten themselves a pocket of safety on that north side. Kroq-Gar is still pursuing the Wolf Hearts, doesn't want those guys to get away while Cold One Riders defend his escape. Horse Archers still trying to chase him. And these Cosby Dervishes are kind of obsessed with killing the Cold One Spear Riders over here, which is fine, but you probably want to get on the Salamander hunting pack soon. Kislev has a lead on the balance of power for now. They have a lot of infantry left. Their lord is very healthy, though so is Kroq-Gar. The Kroq-Gar is increasingly becoming like the last thing left that really matters, because the Salamanders with no melee defense at all will just get run down by these Dervishes. Nice big Flock of Doom on a clump of units, and Kroq-Gar continues to barrel through the Wolf Hearts. Sheena Ambusher ROR cannot stand up to a literal T-Rex plowing through them. Leopard summons out. It's going to harass Cold One Riders for a bit. And on the back, we're finally starting to see the Cosby Dervishes get into the cookie jar of killing off those Salamander hunting packs. Even this Horse Archer, as damaged as it is still killing the Umbral Tide in melee. They're just not built for melee fighting at all, which is fine. Not complaining. Bounce power still shifting away from the Lizardmen slowly but surely as the last of the Coldwind Riders group up with Kroq-Gar for a bit more leadership as he kind of just wanders through these Dervishes. I don't know if he was even trying to attack them, but he did end up attacking them. They're currently terror routing. Looks like their Dire Blood has already been used. They don't have to worry about getting locked in that infinite unbreakable terror route, which can be pretty toxic if it happens to you. Because you're like, cool, I can't get my unit back for the entire duration of Dire Blood because they're stuck terror routing. That Salamander is toast. Kislev Dervish is about to hit them, but again, I guess some brave Coldwind Riders stay in the game long enough to just chase around these Dervishes and be a nuisance. I keep feeling like the Lizardmen are out of Coldwind Riders and then another one shows up out of nowhere. More Salamanders around as the Wolfhearts trade with them. Wolfhearts getting the better end of that. And the Ice Witch does not want to fight Kroq-Gar for long. They're both anti-large arm piercing duelists, but he has way better stats. So he would be probably the victor. Probably, as the Salamanders continue to run away. Kind of hope these Dervishes just run onto the Salamanders. Ignore Kroq-Gar, because he's not getting any attacks out on the Ice Witch right now, right? He's locked in this, like, following her animation. So don't bother peeling him. There's no reason to. You could just go kill the Salamanders. They're not gonna. Now they do, but they take a bit of a volley. They didn't have to. Still some Salamanders are rallying here and there. There's still this one over here that's trying to peel for that hunting pack, which Kroq-Gar gives cold-blooded to keep him in the fight. And Pack Trap, oof, nasty stuff here. Wolfhearts lock Kroq-Gar in place while he's in the middle of halberds and getting shot by the Wolfhearts. He goes down to half HP very quickly. And that was a really good trap for Kislev. Sick of the Wolfhearts, Kroq-Gar did chase them through most of the early game. Now Salamanders are trying to get some shots on them. One of the Salamanders took a blizzard, mostly tanked through it, and is trying to get back into the fight. How are we doing overall on Salamanders? One decently healthy guy. Kroq-Gar's lining up a Hand of the Gods on what? The super wounded Wolfhearts take a side shot that kills most of them and triggers Dire Blood. Good shot on them. I wonder if the Ice Witch would have been more worth it because she's like full HP, but maybe he's just not worried about dueling her. I don't know. Really doesn't want those guys doing any more damage, so they already used all their nets. Bounce power's pretty far against the Lizardmen now. They just lost their Skink Caster throughout one last Flock of Doom, but he is routing now. More and more units for the Lizardmen are getting the white flag. Wolfhearts start to rout at last. We still have some Coldwind Riders because there's always a couple more. We have one Salamander hunting pack, which is kiting back away from these Kislevite warriors. Not getting that much damage on them, but at least they're staying safe. 9 volleys left this late in the game is pretty fine. And still the Ice Witch of Tempest just crawls away from Kroq-Gar and the boys. Somehow she got into a charge animation, which is actually really bad for her because that made her stop for a second. So Kroq-Gar got a free hit there. She should be able to get away from that point. One Skink has rallied. We'll see how much that matters. Salamanders get back to safety. Other Salamanders are back with only 8 leadership, though. And as their nearby allies get close, their leadership actually takes a bit of a bomb. Bounce power still against the Lizardmen. Kroq-Gar plus his Coldwind Riders tear through armored Kossars. Now, we still have some decently healthy halberds, which could be a bit of a problem, especially without your Flock of Doom caster. But it looks like the Ice Witch Tempest is just going to take the fight without them. Kroq-Gar, lower on percentage HP than she is, but he has a higher overall HP. So actually, they're very similar on HP right now, even though she's at like half and he's at, well, now he's just below half because he's gotten several good shots on her. So this is an overextension from the Ice Witch. She wanted him to stay here so the halberds could run up and start poking at him, but still, I don't think it was worth it. They're taking massive friendly fire from the Blizzard. Holy crap, this sequence of play could actually be a single-handed throw from Kislev. Ice Witch just fed herself into Kroq-Gar and took 3,500 HP. It looked like at least 3,000, maybe 3,500. And then she blizzard one of her own Kislevite warriors. He walked into the blizzard and it did a little bit of damage to the Coldwind Riders, but also took like a third HP off your healthy halberd that you had left. Kroq-Gar then charges over to the Ice Witch, does pop Dire Blood, and she decides to just stay and fight, get what damage out she can, because she knows as soon as it wears off, she's going to rout. And the Salamander hunting packs are back yet again. We have some Kislev Dervishes and some Horse Archers that need to try and shut them down, but they are getting good shots in. Kroq-Gar, having routed the Ice Witch of Tempest, does start to fall back towards the Salamanders under covering fire. They try and get him to safety. In come all those Dervishes and halberds and all these things. Kroq-Gar has terror he can give to them. The Wolfhearts are back. Balance power is 50-50, and Kroq-Gar is very low, 1,700 HP. And if he has to deal with these Kislevite warriors, he is doomed. So he's going to charge over here, rout off these dervishes, because he needs the salamanders to help him take care of any remaining infantry later in the game. He needs to soften up those halberds, otherwise Kroq-Gar's doomed. Salamanders have attack orders onto the wolf hearts. They're just not doing it. They're permanently reshuffling for some reason. There we go. Now they're returning fire. That should shatter these guys off. I think they've routed twice already. Nope, another normal route. Kroq-Gar continues to chase the horse archers. Are maintaining their leadership for now. And if that ice witch doesn't come back, this is doomed. I'm kind of surprised, dude. Friends routing and exhaustion. So the friends routing near her is perpetually keeping her routing. That's not good. You'd still think that like a lord on a very expensive terror-causing monster wouldn't route that easily. And some people might be like, man, she's crazy low. I don't know, dude. I just cast a game of Blade Singers where the Blade Singers had like 11 HP and 30 leadership left. So I'm sorry if I'm surprised an Ice Witch of Tempest can't get it together. And she's just going to go off the map. And that's probably cursing Kislev. Because without her, both of these horses are going to rout. And then when your game is just a couple Kislevite warriors with a Lord is dead or routed off the map debuff, then they should be pretty easy pickets for these Salamanders and then Kroq-Gar charging in. So let's see. She goes off the map. Let's see if the prophecy is true. There goes one. There goes the other. So both the horsemen just routed by nature of the Ice Witch left. Now the Salamanders are kiting. Kislev's falling back to the point. I guess that's all they can do. I mean, they're out of good options here. They're just trying to wait on the point to tick up. But at this point, the Salamanders can clean this up at will. Although one of them just routed off the map for no reason. Shattered. Kroq-Gar chases down one of the Kislevite warriors. The other one is charging straight into the Salamanders. And from not quite army losses, but pretty close to army losses, Lizardmen did manage to clutch this one back in their favor. And they now have a... I don't see how they lose this. They have 4 volleys left on one Kislevite warrior that's just doing his best to dodge, but yeah, it's over. Damn. Good clawback from Jepardu. Good play. I don't want to be too negative. Like, he played well with the cards he had in that late game, but I do think that very poorly timed engagement in the mid game where, like, the Ice Witch Tempest just opted into a 1v1 with Kroq-Gar while waiting for those halberds, but then her Blizzard that she cast also friendly fired the halberds quite a lot. That definitely cost her the game. She just took too much damage and then couldn't recover from that. Damn. GG's, lads. GG's. Roar. Subscribe. Yes.